Good morning. Weekend is the time for me to come and go little deeper and pose these questions that may look like puzzles, but they're not really. They're more like pointing out the truth for us and then really see where we are. So there was some of the things that they talked about is more of truths by the sages. One of them was if you really want to be your real self, you get to cease to be your thought bred self, like a conditioned self, you know. Um, and that is something spiritual attainment of the highest, right? Where you know your limitations and you know your limited thinking, you know that all that you thought you were made of a persona or ego or personality, that is something that you have to cease to be yourself, your real self, you know. So that's a kind of very unusual statement for a lot of people. But ancients really didn't build it up that much, so they don't have to discard something to be something, but they are what they are, right? And they can really relate to that. And that is very peaceful, very happy and blissful situation where your mind is kind of peaceful, quiet, and you enjoy the inner happiness and joy and bliss, right? So people lived longer, people lived well, and then people also had this unbelievable creativity that came through because they are not inhibited by any limitations or any uh, imaginations that they have about themselves, right? So when I read this statement, that was profound for me. It was like a real very difference. You know, it was one of those talks that Raman Maharshi's things were exposed. Raman Maharshi did not speak to into a microphone and all that. He just answered questions to people, and then that became written about and brought to us. And one of them, they kind of compared several of his utterances into somebody speaking them. Like one of them, they said was. To be you, you have to die to yourself. That's much more complicated, right? But then what they mean is the so-called conditioned self, the core so-called educated self that we build up from our environment, from our parents, from our family, from our traditions, from our schools, from our culture, so on and so forth, right? It is something that we built in our mind and then hang on to that and they say, this is me. I am generally I'm angry, or generally I am kind of kind, generally I am kind of lustful, generally I am not very caring about other people, I just mind my business. Whatever that role we give, the role we identify, the whatever that we built with our thought, that is the our so-called smaller self. And to really so it's a kind of really comes up with that kind of situation time and again, because the smaller self wants it certain way, and life is not certain way. Life changes. Life always comes into different avenues, right? And it comes and knocks us. Accident, disease, old age, any number of things. Losing our company, or getting robbed of our riches, or accumulations, whatever. And what we thought is going to be permanent will be like a flood or a fire or something destroys, and then it shows us back to where you are really are. To be able to handle that depends upon how much you have developed affection to the temporary things, and they come and go. The sage people are more like they call vairagya. That means detachment to what is temporary, not hoarding for our life and then say this is going to give me security, but we are sooner or later we find there is no security in anything. So understanding there is no security itself security, right? So that kind of thing. So you want to be free of those kind of influences on you, those kind of taking you to the uh, grief of departing with something, or really not able to enjoy the rest of the life because we're so attached to the human beings, any number of situations, right? And then the smaller cell gets hurt, and then it is taken away from it, and so it kind of goes to the suffering. So this is all about suffering. This is all about how can you handle extreme suffering. It's not that you have to go through the suffering, but how can you survive? How can you handle that? A death or a termination of some contract, whatever, right? That gives us enormous grief, right? So how do you protect yourself? Is this seems to be what you built up with your thought and conditioning, and recognize that is temporary and that you built it up yourself. So like a sand castle in the on the sea, and the sea can come up and bury it at any time. That kind of thing. And but also identify what is it that is in you that is eternal, that is not going to change, not going to be discarded, and that real you is you. And don't marry your roles, your titles, your whatever society gives you, the honors, the rewards, and all that. They're not you. So how you can feel better here is by discarding your so-called artificial thought-bred self and recognize what it is, and just being aware of this, it will drop. Then you will be what you really are. So, know yourself was an age old thing. Who am I? Is a very age old thing. But then once you answer this in this manner and identify your real you and be that, to be peaceful, blissful, and happy. I mean, okay? So that's a very profound thing for a lot of people, but the sooner you come to the baseline like that, the better it will be for you the rest of the life. You will be conquering the achyadika dukkha nivritti. That means extreme suffering, you will be able to transcend. It's not conquering, it's like understanding and then not having the movement within you when you are exposed to that extreme suffering. And not only transcending the extreme suffering, then Paramananda Prapti. Extreme joy is possible when you really settle down in your real being. So they say, just be, don't think, just be, don't meditate, just be, because you are that which is eternal, which is all pervading. So I mean, this is the Advaita Vedanta from ancient India, and that kind of is the top of the learning. They say, people go through several stages before they embark on this, and then when you really have to touch that, you get to see what you built up to be, what you are, what your roles, what you are, you know, um, learnings or whatever you identify with. That's not true. What is behind all of you is that awareness, and just be that. Just be. So anybody has comments or questions or something that you would like to explore, come up and I'll be happy to engage with you. Peter, you have any questions on this or what you feel about this? Mark was here this morning and he was questioning on those lines, but he was coming through the mind layer and he knows about it, and we were exploring it towards that. But I wanted to give people a taste of what this thing is about, how to be you are without being the thought bred you. Discard. There is a way that the famous uh, Nagarjuna, he is a Buddhist monk way back, and he invented a place of for everything he will say, no, this is not it. Neti philosophy. That's Neti means in Sanskrit, I'm not this, it is not this. So whatever comes up in front of you, saying that, oh, I went to school, I learned all these things, so I'm a master in this particular subject. Yeah, you are mastering the subject, but you are not going to be identified by that. You are more than that. You are beyond that. So suppose you identify with that role and work for 30, 40 years, and then you retired. Where did it go? You want to identify with the title, but once you discard that, then you are always the real you. That really kind of gets rid of a lot of identification and disidentification and the suffering from it. So you get it? You are functioning in that role, but doesn't mean that you are that role. You are, you are playing a part in a play, and you are that actor playing that part. But if you identify with the part and then you forgot that you're a real person, what you are that actor, then the trouble comes. When you bring that to life, thinking that you are the king in that play and you order around everybody like a king, what's going to happen? You see, you breed resistance, you breed resentment, you breed probably a lot of people unhappy with you. So when you see life as a play and you are an actor, and whatever the role comes, you play, and then you just act it, and afterwards you discard it. So in this life, if you can disidentify with whatever identifications you have, then you are be that you are really are. So die to what you are to realize who you really are. It looks like a riddle, a puzzle, but it's not. It's kind of a deeper way of looking at human life and really reaching the zenith of human intelligence, human understanding, right? This is where the ancients really leapt to a height that is, I think we should be looking at it again. We kind of uh, blinded by the rational thought, and then that is also limited to that particular thing, but not beyond knowing the real truths of the life and all that, right? So it's actually irrational to see that what we built up with our thought is not really us, but what is the life force behind that is what we are. Okay. Maybe it seems like I'm repeating the same thing, but I'm just eager to present something for your examination, for your understanding by questioning deeply into this and then finding your own truth about this matter. That's important. Okay? That's where you don't want to take it for granted just because somebody uttered it, and you don't want to dismiss it because somebody uttered it. But listen to this and go and examine whether this is truth or not. Do your own investigation, whatever way, however time it takes. And then once you really learn this is the truth, Look at this. Am I making my roles as my identity? Am I really settling down because I became a doctor? So I should retire doctor and everybody should call me doctor even though I'm doing something or not. That kind of thing. What am I without having that title, without having that role? I might have learned something. I may help people to relieve suffering of illness. That's all fine. But just because I'm playing the role, does it make me feel like I am that? And then I kind of confine myself being a doctor and I forgot about what are the possibilities of being a human being. That's the question, right? So then I play the role of the doctor. I kind of use my knowledge to relieve suffering at whatever level it is, but I'm not that role. I do work as a doctor, so I don't have to be identified as that. That's what it is. Then I'm really in my real self and working from there using the degree, using the role to help people in whichever capacity we do. But not really understanding, oh, I'm bigger than other people, I know more than other people. That kind of egotistical thing is gone. Make sense? Again, everybody is silent. So I don't know whether I'm making any sense or too difficult or too much. I don't understand. But it makes a lot of sense to relieve our suffering in our human life. Look at identification of a particular citizen of a country, right? And then you have love and affection because you are liking that country, circumstances, or you are born, or whatever the reason. And then you look at other people as foreigners. So they have to come and contribute and make the society better, but you will make them feel like you are a foreigner just because you have a different language or different accent or different, birth space and all that. But everybody is born ultimately on the earth, right? The same earth we are born. Maybe we divided the geographical areas and then divided us with a separate identification, but we are on the same earth, right? So these are all conveniences and rule the country and make sure that geographical identification gives them some kind of sense of belonging and all that. That very thing that we promoted as patriotism or loving your country, all that, now looked upon as tribalism. So you don't want to be tribal and seeking claim to such a land and then make sure that nobody comes and occupies, make sure that you are expanding your kingdom. And the same old thing going on for centuries, right? So you want to really world peace, first of all, each person should work on their own identification, which is causing for the division, for the conflicts, and that's producing a lot of suffering, lot of widows, lot of fatherless children, a lot of men without limbs or other disabilities from the war. So identification with one country, allegiance with one country is leading to this. We are divided human beings. We are separate things that we made with our own mind. They are not born like that, right? And then we kind of treat each other like different. Or we are not the same people. We are not in one energy, but rather we belong to different uh, identifications, right? So that should make a lot of sense for a lot of people because I have been seeing these wars going on ever since I was born, right? So there are always wars, and at any time, if you really take it, like a 50 wars going on the earth, is that all human beings do, or is that something that we don't pay attention to this? We just say, "Oh, wars are happening because it is the politicians that create our war, and people don't have." No, people have divided themselves and gave the others the opportunity to create the division and then fight among each other. Okay, then they can sell you a lot of arms. Then they can make the economy going on. Why is the defense budget is so high in the United States compared to anything else? Why is the health and humanity receive really a pittance of that? Okay, and what about the education? What about the research to invent new things? That's all going down because you have to spend a lot of money to defend ourselves against so-called enemy, right? So that kind of thing is there. So don't identify with anything but as a human being, and then act on it. Then you don't have discrimination of the color, the race, and also the language, the accent. Some people have trouble with my accent, but how about really paying attention to what I'm saying rather than my accent? And then come and talk about that. That will be wonderful. Um, can you speak Sanskrit like I speak? No, you cannot because your tongue is not going to cooperate because you are used to some other language. The same thing you have to understand. So I don't mind you speaking my language and speaking with a thick accent. If at all you can speak, and then I'm not going to discriminate for that, and I'm going to say, how can I understand you better? Can you talk slowly, or can I get somebody who understands your language and explains to me what is that you are saying? What is the content? How can that content can be useful for me? That's taking like that is having patience and respecting other cultures, and also really not being impatient to be compliant with your own culture only. That's not human beings are. Human beings are spread all over the world. They have different cultures, different traditions, different languages, and they come and speak in their own comfort. So if it is really unbelievably not understandable, then get a translator that is there all the time. Just a phone call away, you can get that. So what I'm saying is, what is it that you are paying attention to? What is that you are identifying with? Is that superficial self, or is that something deeper? Okay. Yeah, my friend Peter is coming. I was expecting to come. Yeah. Oh, something happened, Peter. Yeah. Oh, has come. Try again, please. Yeah, I think this time you're coming in. Hi, Peter. Thank you for joining.
Dr. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Thank you. So I'm just listening. I just got out of the shower a little bit ago. Went to the gym earlier,
Yeah.
and I've been listening to your talk, and I heard the part where you said, a lot of the stuff you're repeating, but um, I think it bears repeating because there's only one truth, right? And if it's one truth or one theme that is true,
Yeah.
then you're going to hear a lot of repetition, I think, and it really depends on where a person's at.
Yeah.
It really depends on where a person's at. I really love the way that you said, play the role.
Yeah.
Play the different roles because that's the fact, right? We all play different roles.
Yeah.
But why not make it light? Why not make it fun? Why not make a game of it? Like you can start it that way. It doesn't have to be so serious. You don't have to. I always say you don't have to sell everything and go live on a mountain.
Yeah.
But you can just try.
That's very true. If you play the game, you don't take so serious. You will be sportsman. Okay, if you lose, yeah, fine. I learn from it. I will go. So there's no ego to hurt. There's no ego to say, "Oh, I lost it." You can learn from it and go. And the good sportsman you will be. Yeah, sure.
Right. And there's nothing to lose. Like somewhere along, like as children, we know that intuitively.
Yeah.
We know that. Like, we know that life is a game. We're supposed to have fun. We're supposed to express ourselves, not be so tight and look over there and say that is different than I am, or she or he is different than I am. And that's all learned behavior.
Yeah.
But as children, we intuitively know,
yeah. It's
Alexa,
all fun. Yeah,
Alexa, yeah, we intuitively know
yeah,
how to live. So,
yeah,
like, so I guess we have to make a decision whether life is good and made to be fun
yeah,
and all that stuff and prosperous and or is it just life is hard and we
yeah,
just have to grind it out and it really just is a decision to make.
yeah,
You just make a choice because if what's been happening in your life is not working,
yeah,
what have you got to lose?
yeah.
Play it, man. Enjoy it. Listen, tell you something happens when you flip the script
I
and you
did a
start
talk
playing.
on
Something
this
gets
sports.
lighter.
I did a talk on this sports, Peter, one time, and
Yeah,
I kind of initiated like how was it when the sports were invented, when the Olympics and all the form was it for the spirit of sportsmanship, uh, physical exercise,
yeah.
togetherness, bonding
Hmm.
as friends, and having fun together. Those were
Sure.
the ideals. And then,
Mm.
even if you take the Olympic Charter, they talk about that. But now they enter the profit motive and the ego. These are the two things that made the sports as they are now, because you are not rewarded only playing the sportsman and having fun, but you have to perform, you have to defeat other people and divide and conquer and all that, that inherent togetherness is sacrificed for the sake of some material gain.
Yeah. So I forgot who on the back channel. I think it might have been Paul, but I was talking about like sportsmanship,
Yeah,
like that. Just talk about that's a kind of a thing of the past. I mean, it still happens in
yeah,
school and stuff like that with kids. But as they get older, even into high school, it's
yeah,
extremely competitive. And you're right, it's all about being victory at all costs.
yeah. And the
And
ego
what is
development.
lost in that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
ego development too. The person is
yeah,
supposed to not enjoy togetherness, but more like you defeat the other person, you consider the other person as enemy. That is
yeah,
bred into them. And even the football players, they say you don't talk to them, you just treat them as enemies because you have to win at any cost. And they
right.
destroy
Yeah,
your body and mind in the process.
yeah. It
That's why,
does. It really
yeah,
does.
that's why I kind of sacrifice football. I used to enjoy Bears, right? But then
Hmm.
I came to know the number of injuries on all the players, ex-players, and all that. How much suffering was behind this football game? The joints replaced, brain injury. We kind of came to a lot of it, and then we kind of said, no, this is not right to see the game. So I sacrifice. I don't see the football anymore. Boxing anymore. I don't see that too because I know the suffering behind it, what goes on after the match and all that, how these people are demented and
Sure.
how, yeah, those kind of things.
So I was laughing not because of what you were saying, obviously. I was laughing because I was thinking about the New York Giants, and I always talk
Yeah,
about them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's just I'll get through it,
yeah.
but the bottom line is like at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter to me. It is
Yeah.
just that. It's just
Yeah, but yours is innocent affection and taking a side and enjoying it. But what I'm saying is we miss the suffering behind the game. You see, that's where I'm kind of really look at that. Mabel, hang on, please. Let Peter complete his contribution, and then I'll bring it over. Okay, Mabel, please hang on. Okay.
thank you. I just want to say I was listening to you, and it's just really important. Like so for me, the way I thought about it and the way I started doing it, like if what I was doing was not working, so I had to try something a little bit different, switch it up.
Yeah.
You've got nothing to lose to start playing the role that Dr. Rao was just saying,
Yeah.
and you'll feel a whole lot better doing it. You just feel lighter,
Yeah.
and you'll see that things start to line up for you because it's positive energy, and you'll start to attract more of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, is it this easy to stay in a happy state and make
Yeah.
life a game and make it fun?
Yeah.
And wow, my life is changing. So that's all I wanted to.
It is
say.
that easy, really, that easy. It's not difficult, really. We make it
Yeah.
difficult by hanging on to what is not permanent. Uh, you see, when I first heard that you got to cease to be you, that so-called constructed self,
Right.
to realize who you are, and then that is a very beautiful state of peace, happiness, and
It
bliss.
really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Namaste, my friend.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Peter. Let me bring Mabel now. These two are regulars. They always come and contribute, So I love them for that. I mean, how are you?
Hi, Dr. Rao. How are you?
I am pretty good, Mabel. How are you?
I'm just um getting ready, and yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Discarding yourself to be, and I I'm listening the way you tell regarding the sports because you know what, it happened to me that even not only sport,
Yeah.
even if I watch movie,
Yeah.
the thing that it feels like too much for me, I will tell my husband that, can you please change it to the different one because it's not I'm having it's my energy is changing.
Yeah.
So for me, even just said like, oh, I cannot watch anymore the boxing because I feel like the
Yeah.
the thing that they're playing and then hurting each other, like it feels like
Yeah.
I get hurt too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The other thing is you could instead of watching the game, Mabel, go and play
Uh-huh.
it. Go and play it. Like I take a ball and go out and play with the kids. That is much
Uh-huh.
better. No
Uh-huh.
competition, just the fun, the spending time together with the kids and
Yeah.
laughing, throwing
Yeah.
ball and all that. That is what I like. And
Yes.
also, I have a big complaint about this entertainment making people sit down in the chairs and then hurt,
Uh-huh.
getting into illness and all that because of the sitting all the time, right? So I always
Yeah.
promote
Yeah.
get out of the chair and walk. So this is
Uh-huh.
contrary. You are being the spectator both at the place. At least if you go to the game, you have to get to the stage and all that. But
Mhm.
at home, you are sitting in
Uh-huh.
front of the TV and you are not moving.
But
Yeah.
you know what? I This is the way that in real life, this is how I apply. Yeah, I apply.
Mm.
So at work, if I have a new coworker that who is struggling it,
Mm.
I want to help them.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm helping them all the way,
Yeah.
but I will give them a tools to make them
Yeah.
easier and make them comfortable, and they start loving what they
Yeah.
doing.
You know,
That's how I apply.
I promote this random act of kindness, Mabel. That's what you're talking
Yes,
about. You don't have to,
yes,
yeah, you don't have to outwardly kind and all that, but just give a hand
uh-huh,
of whatever they are doing. That itself
yes,
is kind of a kindness. It's good for you,
yes,
good for them, right?
yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like that's how we approach, in reality. In
Hmm.
reality, I remember when I do my. Let's see. There's another example that I did recently. That for
Yeah.
November, I did the squat challenge for
Yeah.
myself.
Hmm.
This is for myself. I don't say any like you can do it, but this is for me.
Hmm.
And I challenge that. I remember the 1 to 5 days.
Hmm.
I can feel the pain that even if I go downstairs,
Yeah.
my legs is just like, I can feel the pain.
Yeah.
Then the more I'm doing it, I can say, oh my god, my body's not affected anymore. So I just
Yeah.
keep adding counts until yesterday I finished my squat challenge. I did 200 and
Uh,
I divided into five
hmm.
five sets. And I'm so very, very happy the result. One result is I lose my water retention, and
Hmm.
also I become, I don't lose my weight.
Yeah.
No, no way. It's because the more you're active, you will I'm not going go for losing my weight.
Yeah.
And my goal is to losing the water retention, which is really really good.
Hmm.
And then now, what will I do? I will do continue to maintain it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I will tell you something deeper, Mabel.
Okay.
Like just like you are looking at a coworker, what is
Mhm.
obvious to you was she may have, they may be
Mhm.
new, don't have the skills, or they need to
Mhm.
have the experience, and then you
Mhm.
immediately identify that this person is struggling with what they are doing, and
Mhm.
then you naturally empathetically reach out to them like
Mhm.
that. If you examine the human suffering on a bigger
Mhm.
scale and
Mhm.
really see that in the regular life, not just our workplaces only, but in our minds, in our understanding. Ancients really explored that, you see, and because they explored that, they have found in meditative awareness inner sciences of how to relieve the suffering. You see?
Yes, exactly. Because
Yeah.
the reason why who I am, because I
Mm.
feel that energy when I
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
So for me, since I already have a tools, why do I have to share it?
Yeah.
Why do I have to be stingy, right?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
I don't any lose here. It's the thing
Exactly.
is I will help and make me more happy
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
work with them, and
Yeah.
you cannot be like there's no lose in here.
Yeah.
It's always win here. You know you're
That.
happy, the happiness, and then you
Yeah.
are you fulfill that. Oh,
Yeah.
this person is become more
Yeah.
um, um, and, they can perform more
Mm.
and in a good way, and
Yeah.
there's no more anxiety here. Oh, I'm stressed right now because I cannot
Mm.
do this. But the thing is, when you're holding them, like it's okay, you can do this. Keep
Mm.
moving step by step, and then once you reach your competency, you
Yeah.
will be fine.
Mabel, this morning I was listening to a song. It says,
Uh huh.
um, um, the Vaishnava, that means Hindus call themselves worshippers of Vishnu Vaishnavas, right?
Uh
And
huh.
then Shiva worshippers are Shaivas, like that. They have religious identification and all that. So
Yes.
I don't really identify with myself any religion, so that's beyond. But then what it is they say that is a real Vaishnava who sees the suffering in other people and tries to
Yes.
help, and in the process of help, don't
Mm-hmm.
don't be egotistical.
Yes.
You just do
Yes.
it because you see the need and you go and give a handout. Why should you feel so great about it? You just did it like a human being to the other human being. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what
Yes.
I'm hearing, what
That's
you are
what.
telling me. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah. So that's being aware and then being
mm,
observant,
yeah,
especially inside, like not only in your work, especially in your family inside
yeah,
the house, and being observant and you can feel it,
yeah. Can
and
feel. You
it's
can.
up to you if you ignore it or not.
Yeah.
But
See, the thing
if
is,
you
suppose you are not just identified with your family or with your
uh-huh,
country or with your
uh-huh,
tribe, whatever, and then you
uh-huh,
are identified with the rest of the universe. Like
uh-huh,
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, they said the entire world is one family. And in this
yes,
one family, what I see is a lot of suffering in the form of disease, in the form of
uh-huh,
aloneness, suicide,
uh-huh,
mental illness
uh-huh,
growing, chronic diseases. I see all of that, but the
uh-huh,
solution is within us.
uh-huh,
Within us, we can understand better who we are and come out
uh-huh,
with that energy after we realized who we really are. That
yes,
that oneness of ourselves, because I am in that being which is in everybody, in that we are
uh-huh,
equal. We may have a different
yes,
bodies, different minds, different things,
uh-huh.
but in that energy, we are all one.
Yes, yeah.
Then you
I think.
respond to the suffering that's going on around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing. What you are trying to do with your worker, we are trying to do with the rest of the world.
Yes, and I want to share this, Dr. Rhea.
Yeah,
If you interpret this energy that even if I'm here in America, and
yeah,
sometimes I can feel the energy for this person, especially if it's my sister or my brother.
yeah.
I can feel they're suffering something, and then it keep popping in my
Exactly,
mind. And
exactly.
even if they're not telling me, and
Yeah,
then one time, I can only receive the message, but
yeah,
it's so happened that my sister will tell me, but it's already I already receiving
yeah,
the energy.
yeah.
It's so I don't know how you explain it.
No, no, this is unconditional love.
Oh, yes, I
You are
agree with
not
you.
doing it anything expecting from them. Your heart is
Mhm.
crying out for them.
Oh,
That
yes, because you know me,
Yeah,
it is happening like, oh my god,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden my sister will tell me like, oh,
yeah.
now I understand now.
You know what? My mom was a heartful person, and me learning that was my biggest deal. So I don't expect anything for what I do. I just do.
Yes.
The same thing you are doing, Mabel, with everybody, everything. So look at the school that you started for the kids, right? Look at how you are attending your kids' needs, how you come and participate in every room and then give yourself as you feel.
Eh, that's true. That's true because you don't expect anything here
Yeah,
because this is your devotion and this is your love that to
that's
share
it.
to them. Nobody
Because
will tell you this. This is the, oh, I want to do this.
yeah,
I want.
the moment you have a egoic self that is expecting something in return, then you have conditioned your love that it becomes no love. But
Yeah, that's right.
when you don't have that egoic mindset and wanting something, because you don't need anything, because in your real
Yeah.
self you are
And,
complete, you are whole.
yes, yes. That is right.
Yeah. Then
That's right.
but
It's very
if
true.
your cup is full, why do you have to put it out for somebody to pour something into it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is
You
true.
feel it. That's it. You feel it and do it. You don't have to consider like, oh, we are so rational, we are so intelligent, we are so clever. None of that.
No,
None of
that
yeah,
no. There's not about that. It's just like it, it's coming. It's just like naturally.
yeah.
It's not.
No, you are a personification of unconditional love, Maya.
Um,
That's what is abiding within you, and you come. You're pouring it out,
yes.
and that is really heartful people are those who have taken their mind and placed it in the heart, and through heart they come. That's a big deal. Be having the mind in your heart.
hmm Yeah, it is. It's just like I'm, I'm happy that I can sense that, because it's just like even if they don't tell me,
Yeah,
it's just like, oh,
yeah,
okay, okay. And then once I know the message, like,
mm,
okay, I will talk to my sister, and then we will settle this,
yeah.
and
That's
then
it.
they will fine.
That is unconditional love. That is making you connect with those people far away. Even they are in your heart. That's why you're connecting,
Yes,
right? They are in your heart all the time, right? So
yes, yes.
that's it.
Yeah, that's right. And then, and sometimes you do like that connect. You
Yeah,
know, I remember when I met my husband. So
yeah,
and then it's just like, you know, um 7 months we're talking, and
yeah,
then I'm not saying anything to him that I start
yeah.
having developing a um
Bonding. Yeah,
love for
mm,
bond for him,
yeah,
and then he had the same too. And then
mm,
this is so funny because he said, "This is this is the word that I know." He
yeah,
said, like, you know what? When we first met, this is the clue that
yeah,
it will say that you are mine. If you give me a handshake, you will
yeah,
be
yeah,
two of us will be a friend. If you give me a hug,
yeah,
you're mine.
yeah,
And then it's so funny because he said that after
yeah,
we are in the airport, and then that's
yeah,
the clue,
yeah.
and then
Yes,
the clue happened, and then
yes,
he told me like, oh my god, and then that's why he proposed me that night.
yeah. That's it. That love, sustains it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it is powerful. It is
yeah,
powerful that
yeah,
if you have that kind of energy that you're just holding it
yeah,
because you want to be safe,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and two of you in a different world, and then you meet each other in the
This
same
this
energy.
ego plays a lot of role on destroying that kind of thing. So if you
Mhm,
keep away from the egoic nature, then you are
mhm.
your real heartful, loving, kind self, and that nurtures the relationships.
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know and you have the bond after a couple of years, and then later on the bond will become stronger with this love.
Exactly, yeah, it is. And then the thing is, you will be like a lot of it's the your it's like you're traveling.
Yeah.
Your path is not will be a smooth one. It's a
Yeah.
lot of turbulence, but
Yeah.
you know what? The
Mm.
more you encounter that, your bond become more stronger,
Yeah.
stronger
We
and
were
stronger.
raised in India about certain understanding about what is marriage is. I
Yeah.
met my wife today and we got married the day after tomorrow. It's a arranged marriage. Yeah.
Yeah.
We almost 30 years now. We are married.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's kind of important to understand that. Let me bring Melissa. She wants to come in. She has been waiting. Thanks, Melissa, waiting for so long time. Hello, Melissa.
Oh, hold on. Hello?
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Hi, good. It's a little intimidating for me because it's my first time
That's okay.
doing.
Yeah.
Um, I missed the beginning,
Hmm.
so I don't know if I could just talk about anything or.
We were talking about how we understand who we really are beyond our body and mind. They're our instruments, but our real inner being is the self of ours, and that is kind of not egoic self, but more like not identifying with our roles and identities, but our inner spirit of our energy that we feel I am. That's what we are. To be that, we got to discard this ego, the thought
Yes.
built ego. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody knows this, I think. This is the truth, right?
Yes. I'm actually recently.
Hmm.
I turned 50 last year,
Okay.
and my thought process changed.
Hmm.
And then I started like questioning my belief system, and
Yeah.
I started wanting to like do a lot of inner work.
Hmm.
So it's been kind of hard and confusing
Hmm.
because I was taught a certain way to think, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of lost,
Yeah.
kind of just overthinking a lot.
Yeah.
But I've been reading a lot about what you just talked about,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
really
It's a kind of discarding all the thought made beliefs and roles and everything that they made us think like this is what you are, but actually you feel the truth is not that, and then
yes,
you grow into that slowly. I think you are on the right way, Melissa. Um, just ask yourself, what are these thoughts? Where are they coming from? Am I getting brainwashed by the systems, or am I really go after the truth? That means I have to discard these false things that I learned. That is your own learning you are doing, which is wonderful, and you learn to discover truth by yourself by discarding all these unnecessary things.
it's just it's really hard
Yeah,
because
it is.
I read a lot about all of this,
Mm.
and I feel like the first thing that I should be doing is probably getting into meditation.
Yeah,
I've done it a little bit just to shut all that noise out.
yeah. Shall I tell you how I did it? You know,
Sure, thank you.
yeah.
Yes.
Don't read anything, but be meditative in the sense you kind of sit down, calm yourself down. As the things come up, ask the question, where is this coming from? Then you will see you were conditioned, you were taught to think certain way, and that's why they are coming up. But if you really want to see the truth, what is in front of you, then you operate perceiving the truth in front of you. And then all those recordings, all those trainings, all those conditionings drop because you are in touch with what is truth in front of you.
So over time,
Yeah.
you're
No,
saying
suppose you and me are talking, right? We both are talking,
yes,
and then I say something rude to you, and they immediately react. Then
yes,
you kind of suffer because you feel bad about it and all that.
yes.
But if you
That
say,
happens all the the
Yeah,
time.
if you say, why should I be reacting when he says something?
Not rude, but I mean, like
Yeah,
I,
anything.
I, I overreact.
Yeah,
It's on the moment. I
yeah.
don't. I need to learn self
That is
control.
that is the spot where I want to stop and say, why do I have to react? That means mind reacting is kind of happens, but then you make a big deal out of it is in your hand. You can say you can discard it and say, let him talk whatever he talks. Why should I react this way? That becomes your own lesson in your own life. So you're looking at
Yes.
yourself in the mirror of relationship, how your mind is made, how you are doing a lot. And then the moment you understand that, they will drop down and your real inner self comes out.
Okay, I'll just keep working on it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure, Melissa. Thanks for coming up and bringing that beautiful question. Yeah, really, really important. So people read other people's self-help books, and then they may have truth, but then when it comes to your real life, you may not be doing that. You may be just making the intellectual knowledge, but not a experiential truth. That can happen if you look at your life as a mirror of who you really are in this moment, that reacting, that egotistical, that uh, rational, all those things come through. Then you can see this is all temporary. What I am really has no reaction, and also has something completely different way to come out. The more you are silent in your chatter of the mind, the more your inner self comes out. That's why discarding yourself that is bred by thought, egotistical, individualistic, and all that, that drops because you understand what is the real truth about you is inside of you. So people may be very articulate, people may be very clever, people may be very logical, and they can present all that to you, and you feel like you are overwhelmed by their cleverness, by their shrewdness, by their, uh, you know, quoting in books and all that. But real life is where you study yourself in the action of relationship. So how are you relating to people? To uh, so many conditioning factors, so many stated factors, and then they will say, I am the highest authority on truth. I am going to tell you this, and you follow it. So never accept authority as the truth, but the truth as the authority. That is not yours or mine. Truth is only one, and that will be there. Whether you want to change it with your own interpretation, that's what the problem is. Many people don't live the truth in their life, but they want to get up on the stage and speak about it. Then that becomes propaganda because you're not doing it, but you are preaching it to everybody. So understand the life as the mirror, and you can see yourself as you are, and then perceive it not with your knowledge of bookish knowledge or old knowledge, but uh, present moment awareness, perceiving what it is in front of you. That is present moment awareness living. If you do that all the time, then you can see that your truth doesn't have to be added or doesn't have to be subtracted. It is whole, and that is operating within us, but we cannot shut it down by our own mind's conclusions. That's why many modern people don't go beyond that, and they have to meditate, etc. But the person who is in the real self doesn't have this mind going all over. So he doesn't have to meditate. He is already in the meditative awareness. Be that, then see how much energy saves, how much joy you have, how much blissful feeling you have. You have to experience that, not just say I can describe that to you, but how do you experience that is calming the mind and really quitting the chatter, making it more like a still. If you have the stillness of the mind, then you can see your real self coming out by the sun. Like clouds are gone, the sun is already there, and now you see the light of the sun coming out. I hope that makes sense, Melissa. But that's actual life experience she's talking about. It's not like a theory or anything, but she's trying to really come upon the truth within herself, and that's why you pay attention to your own reactions, your own experiences. And that's why in ancient wisdom, it's not about reading them, it's not about knowing all the theory and everything. It's about really understanding what is experiential knowledge and gaining it in your own lifetime. So I'll tell you a story. There is this monks association, and in the school, young men come and enroll themselves for the monkhood, and they are given Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. I am that eternal Brahman, that universal consciousness. I am that. Those things are given. They are called Mahavakyas in ancient wisdom. So they take that sentence and comes to the dean, because the dean meets all the new enrollees on that day, and he asked them, "Do you have any questions?" And they said they gave us this Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi, these two mantras. How often we have to repeat this? He said it's not for repetition; it is for realization. Realize the meaning of that in your life. That is experiential knowledge. To do that, the less you read about other people's works, the less you even read about even ancient texts and all that is better. So you can, but we are complicated inside. We have a mind going on. We have so many knowledge pathways going on. We think we have accomplished so much in so many fields. We want to engage all the chatter and go from one to another, every day one speaker, every day other. But then real thing is where you calm down, you quiet your mind, make it still, and then look at the hidden thing that's coming out, which is your own inner self. To be, that's what I'm talking about here. To be that. Okay. So by discarding the self, by understanding this, not by force, not by violence, but then just understanding it will help you to transcend that, so that it won't pop up and rule you. And then you are in your real inner essence, which is to be. That is the goal of the human life. Hopefully that makes sense. So any doubts or any questions, you can always DM me, and you can always send things to me that I'll be happy to answer them. So I think we're almost an hour since I started this. If anybody wants to come up, I will stay a few more minutes. Otherwise, we'll close the room. Okay. I hope I made myself clear on this. So if any doubts or anything, it's not going to be a single day thing. This is an ongoing human journey, right? People have their own way to make it, and we are nobody to judge them, but they have their own paths and their own way they do it. But the direct path is questioning ourselves by really questioning, where are these thoughts coming from? Who is having these thoughts? What are the effects of this thought? That kind of personal, um, really personal conscious experience, that's what we are looking for. Okay. Yeah, when you have that experiential knowledge, you don't need any textbook to study, path to follow. Your answers will come from within you, because there is the wholeness is within us, covered by our egos, our conclusions and laws. Remove the clouds and the sun will shine. Okay. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again later. Bye bye. Thanks everybody on the Instagram. And